certainly not least, the one and only Lloyd Kaufman, everybody!
Yeah!
How are you? You want to grab that seat wherever you feel comfortable. Oh my gosh. Hi. Keep it going, guys.
Quebec, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest moderator. And today, she's the Troma moderator. Quebec, ladies and gentlemen.
I adore you. You're going to make me cry. You're seriously the greatest. I adore everything about you. I adore everything about Troma. Thank you for being back here at Spooky. This is exciting.
Well, thank you. And thank you, the distinguished panel. Babette is the star of our up-and-coming movie that we're editing, A Curse of the Weird Deer, an anti-hunting movie. And Athena, we have worked together for many years, and we're in a movie together. What's the name of that?
The Killing Game.
The Killing Game, not directed by Lloyd Kaufman, so it's going to be good. And over there we've got, looks like Ryan Reynolds. And Taylor Christian and Christine in the audience. Stand up. There'd be no Troma without Taylor Christine. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Taylor Christine.
So before we get things underway, Babette and Athena, can you guys maybe tell us a little bit about your experience with Troma?
You start.
Well, it's okay, good, it's on. Is this on? Troma, gosh, what can I say? I don't want to, the last time I did this, I introduced Lloyd, and he said I should have such a great memorial. So I'll try not to do that. I'm trying to dial it back. But Troma, I mean, if you're a filmmaker, if you're an actor, to have Troma on your resume, on your CV of having done it, is just, I mean, the best thing you can do. And nobody else, I'll tell you, I've looked for decades now, nobody is making the kinds of movies that I want to make, except for Troma. And I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for them, I would have no career whatsoever. No career whatsoever, because they write the kind of stuff that I love to do. So, yeah, just the best. The best.
So I've been in the independent film community for over 20 years now. I started with Toe Tag Pictures from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, way back in the day. And about 7 years ago or so, I ended up becoming a Tromette with Lloyd. And ever since, now I've got a couple of my movies on Troma Now.
Tell us exactly what is Troma Now, because Governor DeSantis, I think, would like to subscribe.
Get me started. Oh.
Yes. So Troma Now is a streaming service, actually, that Troma has been doing for several years now. But we're trying to get it caught on some more. So it's Troma films, but it's also independent filmmakers and all kinds of indie films and things like that on there. So you get the best of all the worlds. You get independent and Troma. It's free for the first month, and then only $5 after that. So
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what. All of the other services, these streaming services that are out there, have managed to nibble away and get rid of all independent film voices. You cannot get your film in front of people. God bless Troma for not just bringing out the stuff that you already know and love and bringing it directly into your living room, but they're continually leafing in new filmmakers that you've never heard of and who otherwise you would never hear of at all in today's culture. So God bless Troma Now, and support indie film by supporting Troma Now.
And actually, a couple of my films that I've worked on Troma Now, and Lloyd, as he mentioned, he and I are working on The Killing Game, and I got to go to New York and film some stuff. I got to visit Tromaville, which was like a dream come true, honestly, so that was really cool. But yeah, big in the independent film, and without Lloyd as like one of my mentors growing up, I would not be fucking sitting here right now. So, the man, Lloyd Kaufman.
Toxie, who has exited from the loins of Troma? Are there any unusual people besides You, Toxie? Are there any other superhuman creatures of superhuman size and strength?
Yes, agreed.
That means he's talking about James Gunn and Eli Roth and Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD and Troy the Nuclear Rodent and Dolphin Man too. Very good. Thank you, Tox.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, in a new movie, a big new reimagining, Kabillions of Dollars. It's finished, and I'm only producer in name, but young director Macon Blair, who's a Sundance favorite, wrote the Green Room and some very other good movies, and made one movie called I Don't Want to Live in This World Anymore. And Legendary Films, who brought you Pacific Rim and Zilla versus Kong and stuff like that. They showed a lot of courage in hiring Macon Blair because it's $1 billion movie. So I think it's gonna. I've seen it. I think the Troma fans. I think Kid Cadet is a very tough critic, but I think you're gonna like it, Kid Cadet. Kid Cadet. We make movies that come from the brain and the heart and soul of Michael Hers, my a partner who does not appear in public. Although he's extremely good looking, and we used to direct movies together. In fact, we co-directed Toxie's movie, and then he decided to grow up and try to keep the company going for 50 years, which he's done a good job about. Michael Hers. There's a guy writing a book about me. He's been a Dartmouth University librarian, and he's trying to interview Michael Hers. Michael Hers refuses. We'll get him eventually. Time down. The young people pretty much inspire me because they're the people that are going to create the future. So our movies are mainly like Citizen Toxie, which we made 20 years ago, dealt with school shootings and abortions. Hoping that people might pay attention, but meanwhile, it's worse. We've got hard to have an abortion unless you're a man, and they haven't outlawed it for men. And then the school shootings, not just school shootings, but guns are still everywhere. It's horrendous. Australia had a big shooting, and that was it. They handed in their guns, and same with New Zealand. They stopped it immediately. We can't do it. But luckily, Governor DeSantis, he's going to make it all. He loves us all, doesn't he? He's the best. He's such a good governor. Wait till he's president. And all these liberal Jews came down from New York. Where the hell? They must be voting for I mean, what the heck is going on here? Just because you don't have a state tax. I mean, really. I mean, it's terrible.
Times are crazy right now, Lloyd.
Yeah.
That's why we need your films to help us escape. And right?
Thank you, Kid Cadet.
No, of course.
Troma Now, you've got 50 years of Troma cinema, a lot of new movies, about 1,000 movies, opinion pieces, lessons. Make your own damn movie. June 1st begins the first auditory. I don't know what that word means. Book of mine. Make your own damn movie. You can listen to it while you play with yourself, or while you jog, or drive, or
multitask, yeah.
It's very inspiring.
and I know we're. Oh, go ahead. I know we're about to celebrate. Is it Toxie's 40th birthday? Is that what we're?
Yes, it is. Toxie's 40 years old. Has a new video game coming out it's a beat 'em up. You can make a wish on Steam, and they played it in our office, and young people really enjoyed it. Retroware made this Toxic Crusaders beat 'em up, and it's got a lot of. It's not just Toxie. It's got the Crusaders, Kabuki Man, Tromaville itself. But have fun with that. So I don't think
Crusaders is amazing to me because I'm just of a generation that missed that. I was not on my radar. But when I go to a film set, everybody on set has Toxic Crusaders characters all over themselves and tattoos and whatnot. And now there's a huge resurgence of Toxic Crusaders merchandise and all of that stuff. So that's amazing. So do people want more of the Toxic Crusaders?
Yeah!
Before we go to some questions from the crowd, I wanted to ask about working with the wonderful Lemmy from Motorhead. I know he had, right? So I wanted to know about your experience with Lemmy. When did you guys first meet?
Lemmy was a very nice man, very well educated, very nice. I met his son also, who, if he asked you to guess who his dad was, you would never guess Lemmy. But Lemmy was the greatest, and we went out a few times. He mainly went to strip clubs, but he didn't drive, so I got to drive him around LA a bit. And of course he acted in, starting in Romeo and Juliet. He had the most lines in Romeo and Juliet. And of course you can't understand him because he was fairly high and drunk. But the later films we gave him subtitles. But absolutely good guy, and I miss him. And we made a very nice memorial video dedicated to Lemmy.
Well, there's no Hall of Monsters right now, so.
Well, good. Well, the mouse is pretty scary.
It'd be amazing if there was a Tromaville theme park in New Jersey. right off the exit.
That's a nice thought. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your question. Did you have a question back there? You're just hanging out against
Thanks,
the wall.
Brian. Thank you.
All right.
Microphone right over there.
What's your name?
Hi, I'm Joe. I have two questions, if that's okay. One, obviously Shakespeare's a large influence for you. Romeo and Juliet, The Tempest, Shakespeare Shitstorm. What's your favorite Shakespeare writing?
The Tempest is my favorite Shakespeare play, hence hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, and I wanted to wait during the Romeo and Juliet that James Gunn wrote. I would have done The Tempest, but I wanted to wait till I was older and I could really feel what Prospero went through. He's old, he's losing power. I'm sinking deeper and deeper into the reeds of the underground, but like Prospero, I make magic. The Tempest has a monster, it's got a lover, a loving couple, a beautiful romantic couple, it's got the fairy in it, it's got Troma written all over it. And hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, which might be the last film I direct, I hope not, but it's my most personal movie. I hope you get to see it. And by the way, there's nothing in a Troma movie, some of the critics, they call us exploitation movies. That Maverick Top Gun exploits Tom Cruise, I mean, everything is exploitation. And I've been naked in Return to Nukem. I did the, what do you call it, the cannibal, Silence of the Lamb, Buffalo Bill thing? Yeah, I did it, and I asked one of my daughters to film it, but she refused. But we had a standby camera person. But so there's nothing that's in any of our films that Uncle Lloydie hasn't done, just to, in case people, a lot of people like to badmouth me saying that, and it's not true.
His best acting is in Shitstorm. I'm just going to say that flat out. If you haven't seen it, Lloyd's best performance is in Shakespeare's Shitstorm. And I'm going to say the genius of Lloyd Kaufman as far as marketing goes. When you have a movie that has shit in the title, right there in the title, there are inherent marketing problems to that. People don't like to put the word shit on a marquee. People don't want to share. In the world where everybody's grandmother is on Facebook, they don't want to share shit in their feed.
No, it's a stupid title, no question about it.
But the genius...
we were in one festival, Fantasia, and then that was it, no festival.
But the genius to subvert that, and I messaged him about this, the genius to subvert that was that he added the hashtag to the very title and marketing of the name of the movie. So every time you write the name of the movie, whether you want to share it or make it go viral or not, it automatically does because of that hashtag he put on that title. So that's a genius marketing moment that I think nobody is recognizing.
And the movie has a lot to do with that theme, as well as the fact that drugs have been pushed on the American public for 50 years. So, of course, we're going to have an epidemic of opium and fentanyl and every kind of drug. Just watch television every 5 minutes. Drugs. Big pharma, very bad, very bad. Children have been watching it for 50 years. So it's what do you call it? Normalized. Taking a pill is normalized. Doesn't matter what it is. I know because I took a lot of it.
You said you had a second question.
I do, yes. This one's more of a personal nature. My fiance and I are huge Troma fans. Our whole relationship is drive-in, Troma, that's kind of our whole deal. And as Babette can attest, we got engaged at Joe Bob's Jamboree this past year. So what I want to have...
Babette got engaged?
No, my fiance and I did. Babette was there.
That's okay. That's all right. Very tolerant.
So what I want to know is, what would it take to get Uncle Lloyd to officiate our wedding?
I wanted to officiate a Kid Cadet's wedding, but unfortunately I had some kind of... Somebody died or something. No, somebody died, I think. I had to go to a funeral. But I have officiated Aubrey, who's one of our Troma family members here at Spooky World. Talk to him. It's on YouTube, I think. Aubrey and Christy, about 10 years ago. Still married?
Can you do it right
No.
now?
But if you make arrangements, come to the booth. I'll give you my card, and we'll have a not at the booth. The next, we have to make a time for it and all that. It's very sacred.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations. I'm sorry.
What's your name?
My name is RJ. I just want to say thank you for making me the clown I am today. Now, what do you do when you get to the point that you just want to give up? Like just on entertainment?
But back to I get to that point every morning when we wake up. Don't worry. I'm waiting to join you, Lord. I'm waiting. I think what's that?
Don't leave us!
Oh, thank you. It was very kind of you. I think it's clear. The Troma's the only independent movie studio of 50 years. I don't think Michael Hers and I are giving up. We revel in failure, as a matter of fact. It's kind of interesting to have a small cult following, because you don't have to have your movie ready like the big movies have to be ready. They have to, before they even, my sister and her beloved are art directors on big movies, and they set the release date before the script's finished, and in many cases the script is being written while they're filming. It's insane. And James Gunn made a very good speech about it, saying that whilst he is going to do the DC movies, you're going to have good script, plenty of pre-production, and make a brilliant movie. And that's a good advice.
That's the silent horror of what's going on with the AI, because the scripts are being written 2 seconds before they're being filmed, and that doesn't leave a lot of time for creativity amongst artists and actual writers to sit down and do that. So the days...
Are you saying the Raiders of the Lost Ark with the 80-year-old guy is looking at AI? I know it wasn't that good, but come on.
It would answer a lot of questions. It would certainly, yeah.
Thank you, Babette Bombshell. Don't give up. Don't give up, whatever you're doing. You'll still discover a cure for cancer, I can see. Who doesn't have cancer, by the way? Anyone over 50, everybody I know has got cancer, right? It's, I guess, the environment and all the crappy food, McDonald's. Poultry guys started the chicken dead with anti-McDonald's, and I think a lot of that stuff is bad for us, although it's all I eat. Twizzlers! They're vegan.
What's your name?
Chris. I I got two questions. Any advice for younger directors, and also what are your favorite movies currently?
Babette, what do you say? You're an artiste. Young people.
The thing that I would say to young directors is be careful of the trend that I see everybody doing where they sell producer credits. Okay, where people will auction off for their credit, and they'll call somebody a producer who just sent them their beer keg money. And the problem with that is, it's great, you'll get money for your independent film, but the problem is when you go to look for a producer, being a producer in film and cinema is an actual job. It's not something, so you end up having an ocean of people with producers credits, and they're not actually producers at all.
There's a lot of work that goes, into filming and producing a movie. So I agree with you, man, totally.
Exactly. So I would say don't cut off your horizon for today by selling producer credits to people who aren't producers, because it'll make your life harder later on.
Well, there's a decision to be made at the crossroads. Either you, if you want to be, get the red carpet and the house you don't own and the big Rolls Royce that you don't own and the hookers and the pot, the cocaine. I think you have to go out to California where they green light the movies. That's where they make those mainstream movies. And they're great people. A very small percentage of the mainstream are wonderful people. You know a lot of them. They're great, but most of the people are scumbags. So if you want to be like Lloyd Kaufman and have shit shoved in your face for 50 years, you can do what I do and make your own damn movies. And now with digital, you can do it. You can have a day job and make a film and get your go to conventions like this and sell your DVDs. And I'm in a lot of first-time directors' movies. I don't charge, and they can sell a few DVDs to Troma fans. And then eventually you make another movie, and eventually you can spend more time making the movies because you've got a revenue stream, and you can spend less time on the working at the fast food place. So, it's a big decision. And then when you're making your own damn movies, and James Gunn certainly does it, do what's in your heart. As to their own self be true, a phrase coined by one William Shakespeare, who wrote that best-selling book, 101 money-making screenplay ideas. But it's good advice, I think. It's art, so try to make art if possible. Terra Firma is all about that. Sounds cool now. Terra Firma is about a blind filmmaker who loves what he's doing. Maybe he's making good movies, maybe he isn't. But he's making movies he believes in.
And they're about something. That's the thing that has always drawn me to Troma, is that they're topical satire about the culture in which we're living in. There's a lot of horror movies, there's a lot of genre films that don't have that kind of staying power because they're not addressing the world in which we actually live. If you look at movies that resonate, like Night of the Living Dead, that was about what was happening in the culture. These famous classic movies, which Troma has in their, in their back pocket, those are because they're satire that are talking about the world in which we're living.
Well, Romero and Cronenberg and the great horror genre filmmakers, you're absolutely right. I mean, Night of the Living Dead, a black guy was the main character. Surf Nazis Must Die, which is not really horror, but kind of surfing sci-fi together. It's a Troma movie. I had nothing to do with making it, but it's got a woman as the main part. It's a black woman and a fat black woman, 1984, and it's something got the word Nazi in it, and meanwhile it's a classic because it's got a lot to say about society. And beautiful surfing movie by Emilius. No, who was the guy? Red October, and anyway, the same cameraman that did Big Wednesday shot which is a surfing film by anyway, the horror guy, a violent action director shot the surfing music for Surf Nazis Must Die.
And
Fascinating. So boring, I'm sorry.
No.
Very old. Very old. Get boring when you're old. Want to hear about my health? Hey, my head.
And I think the second part of your question was favorite movie currently? Was that the okay for all four of y'all? Toxie, favorite movie currently? It's I mean, very good choice.
Well
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
It's a man of few words. My favorite films?
Currently, or I think that was your question, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Currently, what are you watching?
My current favorite film. Well, my current favorite film. See how well I've my tutelage under Lloyd is Curse of the Were-Deer, which I star in, coming out through Tromaville. I got to play a sheriff. I got to play a country sheriff and do nude scenes and be attacked by creatures of the night. So it was right up my alley. But that's my favorite one right now, and I'm happy with it.
He speaks the truth. The truth, ladies and gentlemen. You don't hear it much, but that's it. Babette Bombshell.
And I'm gonna take a note from Babette here and say one of my favorite movies is a movie I just starred in called Holy Shit, Man! And yeah, it's about a story about the Devil's Plumber. Yeah. And it's quite raunchy, and it's right up there with some trauma films for sure. And actually, I was telling Lloyd, I was like, man, that's how I promote this movie to people. I'm like, do you like trauma films? Well, yeah. Okay, well then you have to watch Holy Shit, Man. So, and there will be a sequel that I will also star in. So I'm gonna say that's my favorite movie right now. I'm gonna shamelessly promote one of mine too. Yeah. The sequel's gonna be called Holy Shit, Ma'am.
I haven't seen much, but I very much liked a movie that's online, but starring and produced by Audrey Plaza. Audrey was in White Lotus. Audrey Plaza. Have you seen? It's called The Girl Criminal, and it's very, very good. And it's great because it has a lot of Arabs in it, and there's fucking, but it's a wonderful movie. And I don't think it would. I think it shows courage on the part of Audrey Plaza, who's terrific. Check it out; it's very, very good. And of course, I had to see it like several. I still don't understand it, but everything, every all at once. I still don't understand it, but it sure was original, sure was interesting, and I think I'm just getting it. That's a good one, and it's good. It's subtitled, which makes good, isn't it? Yeah, it's very nice. There's another Korean series. Oh, damn it, what's it called? It's Korean Americans. Beef, terrific. It's really good. It's not a movie, but it's terrific. And it's American Koreans talking. Well, mainly. It's really good.
Now, speaking of like series of going for like cinema, because the series, these short, limited series seem to be the way that a lot of these, the industry.
My name is Mandy. Lloyd, you're absolutely amazing, and this first question is mostly for you. So, you've covered a variety of different topics in your movies that are super duper controversial. Is there anything that is kind of off the list for you in terms of that? And also, for the whole group, with cancel culture and censorship and all the stuff that's going on in Florida and other different states, how are you guys handling that rejection right now?
Certainly, I would definitely not make a movie glorifying Hillary Clinton. I'll tell you that. Nor would I make one glorifying. I hate to keep promoting your governor, but there's also a guy in Texas. A lot of people I wouldn't glorify, no matter how much I was paid. But I guarantee you, I'm sure some of those people out there on the West Coast, they'll do anything, right? Most of them are scum of the earth. So be careful. The woke thing can go too far in one direction, and the fascists can go too far in the other direction. And there's plenty of money on both sides. So we have to be vigilant. we, Troma family, we must fight for the freedom of speech and the freedom of the truth. Thank you very much. And what's all this anti-Semitism that's suddenly come up? These basketball players hate the Jews. What do we do to them? I don't get it. Anyway,
No, I gotta think about this some more.
Well, I don't have to think about it much at all because it so deeply impacts my career. I mean, you know, the whole laws against performing drag and stuff like that. And you know, I get it. I get it. I've seen drag change since I started doing it. My inspiration was divine. I wanted to offend everyone. I don't want to offend one person or one group of people. I want to offend everybody. The liberals, the conservatives, I want everybody offended. And now, you know, it's at a point where if I came to Spooky Empire today in drag, the way I have many, many times, you know, I could have somebody take a picture with their kid and then get shot the next day in the street for it. It's just like, you know, the laws that are being made about these things actually impact people's mental health, and it empowers people to be nuts. And I'll tell you what, I did not start doing drag to become America's sweetheart on some TV show. I certainly didn't do it to entertain straight people while they ate hamburgers. I didn't do it for straight people's drooling toddlers, because I'll tell you what, they're the world's worst fucking dippers. So I don't get all of this whole thing about performing for kids and, you know, in drag and stuff like that. You know, drag will have to change in order for it to be appropriate for kids. And that is what we're really seeing. We're seeing it kind of morph and change and be homogenized and turned into something that I don't really have any interest in doing, frankly. I have no interest in cosplaying Angela Lansbury for your kids. Fuck that. I'm too busy shitting in trauma movies and stripping naked, because that's what we all really want to see. That's my 2 cents.
And I was going to say, the future is definitely bright with you, Babette, and with you, Athena. Thank you. I mean it. You guys are like keeping trauma alive. This thing isn't going anywhere, you know, and we need the next generation. We need more people like you guys putting out what you guys put out, being authentically you. And that's what trauma is all about, is being your authentic self. And you guys have created this universe for all of us, you know. And
well, the good news is people are starting to be easily offended again. So the audience is there for me to offend once again. So drag just got a whole lot more interesting for me, kids. Expect for me to do a lot more of it than I've been doing for you. But yeah, thank you. Yes.
Of course. Before we do wrap this up, is there any final thoughts you want to leave us with here this weekend at Spooky?
One point that Uncle Lloydie, forgive the third person, but there'd be no Troma without our fans. You are the secret sauce of Troma, and you know, we're kind of a traditional cult movie